also photograph, and I make films for the most part now. I don't think my family has ever quite figured out what I do for a living. Mostly, about 50%, I work as a creative director, doing a range of different things. And I ran an ad agency in New York. Not in New York, in Atlanta, for 25 years. And spent my time running the agency by day and at nights and weekends. I spent doing African and modern dance. And no, I'm not an athlete. I think that all of the arts are connected in that the way that you learn to see light shooting a photograph or working with light and movement and timing and impressionism and whatnot with a camera, with moving pictures, it's all interrelated, as well as I think that when you paint, it forces you to deal with translating human experience into a moment. The amount that you can get out of a moment, I think, is what great painters wind up being able to do. I think that's what Dali does. That's what I think Rodin did. And I think that when it comes to theater, you are forced to pull all of these things together. Rewriting this piece for the stage, this scene really. I couldn't drive a 66 GTO out on the stage. So I had to give the impression of the automobiles in the truck in this in order to translate this scene. And so what does it sound like, when a guy gets a ride from work and gets dropped off? He's walking through the neighborhood and all the dogs are barking and, you're trying to get in the house and you're tired as heck, and all you want is 15, 20 minutes, relaxation before you got to take a 2-hour ride to your next job. And then that interruption, what happens in between. And the whole scene really comes from a memory I have of my parents dancing in the kitchen when I was a kid. And we were 10 folks living in a little house. I can't believe how little this house was now that when I go to see it. But what happens in that interlude that, two people are trying to maintain a relationship when every pressure in the world is trying to rip them apart. And you just got a few minutes, to experience one another, and it's off to the races, and I think that being able to get that impression on a stage, I think it's the same thing as painting. It's just that the elements you're dealing with are different. You have to work with the technologies that are surrounding. You have to work with the lighting. Then the actors have to interpret. And if somebody misses a cue, they have to improv their way through it. And and you have a whole range of different things that come into play. And the wonderful people who run this house, they are part of everything that appears on the stage as well. So
there seem to be some questions from the audience. I don't want to neglect this side of things. Alex, so you also work in film and video, and then this has a story component, and you're playing 5 instruments?
Yes. Unfortunately, with this massive of a setup and without the rehearsal, we don't get it, necessarily show it as the way it was prepared. But it is a 10-story album I've written. I've been working on for almost 12 years now, and it has narration, and it's kind of a anti-hero story about a man who's washed up and decides I'm going to go out and make the world a better place, and he does this by killing bad guys eventually journeys down to fight the devil. So it's an epic tale, and as you can see, with an epic appearance as well. Yeah, a little slice of life too. Yeah.
With an arms race, we like to empower what we have the power to do, and a lot of it is with him, it's his music. With me, I'm strong with my body, and to me that's my weapon, and I feel empowered by it. And we want everyone to feel empowered by what makes them strong and independent, and who makes them an individual, and make that, shine bright for everyone to see and not be ashamed of it. That's an arms race.
So I think it's time to open up the floor. Hear you guys. Does anybody have a question? I thought you did.
I just like to make a statement that as a lifelong dancer, dancing since I was 5, I was highly impressed by your dance, so beautiful, by your amazing dance of all many flavors, by the music, by what you expressed, by what each artist did. It was just really great. Thank you.
I'll project, if that's okay. Why are we using mic either way? Thank you. The question I have is kind of for each one of you, which is, this is a work in progress. You're limited to 10 minutes right now. What is your eventual vision of your final product?
And I think for the sake of time, we may not be able to go down the, but who would you most like to know that from?
Well, all of you, that's why I asked.
Well, okay, so we have to say it all at once. 3 words. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be the time.
10-song story album. We just gonna flow with it.
I intend to turn it into a 1 hour or an hour and a half stage play or film.
I want to turn this into a full-fledged circus.
And this is the beginning of my next evening
Okay. Yes.
So with the 10-minute thing, do y'all feel like you were able to tell the story that you wanted to tell in those 10 minutes? Do you feel like that was told to us? Because I know if it was a longer story, you had to obviously shorten it. So did you feel like you put a beginning, middle, and end for us as an audience in this work in progress, or was it just like a beginning, or just the middle, or just the end? That's my question.
We're improvisers, so these were kernels that may expand, so who knows the order of operations in the future. Yes, because I narrowed it down to 10 minutes, so I really created a beginning, middle, and end for this. However, these were, again, just the seedlings to the, okay, where does that middle go? Let's throw it here, let's throw it here, and how do we add new things on? So yes, but no.
Well, the real trick to turning one scene into a full-fledged story was coming up with the beginning, middle, and end. And I thought that we made that happen. When I say we, I'm talking about these great people that I had doing the acting, because they did some great improv on some of the things that I initially told them that I wanted to work in. And we worked those things out in rehearsals, and the first time that we got it the way that I really wanted it, it was just one of those magical moments. It just happened. And and I think that you don't necessarily need a beginning, middle, and end, but I do think you need a peg to hang your hat on. That you have to have a moment. And we had several moments, I thought. One of the moments was the pratfall. And that kind of hooked things right there. That character was willing to go through having that kind of moment just to have a moment with this lady at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And he make a fool of himself because that's their song.
I won't speak for me, but I think for me in this project, I think I wanted to show the audience that we have the bones of an incredible house, and we're just letting you see the plans, and hopefully we gave you enough that you want more.
I agree 100%. That's so good. We're actually working on a piece that we'll be doing next week at the Bradenton. So there is plans to definitely grow, but we enjoy working with each other. Like the sound of the marimba, the calmness, the ideal of being able to go out into the beach and meditate and deal with those issues, and then once you're done, you're supposed to be able to see the beauty of it all. And when you combine the sounds, the visuals too, it's nowhere, so many different places. 10 minutes was like, okay, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna stick to it. And we were like, okay, I don't know, I think because we're both like, this is what we're gonna do, this is the end, and we'll just go from there. And so it was like 10 minutes, all right, let's do this.
Time kind of dissolves in meditation. So
It does. It could. I really enjoyed it. Thank you. And I don't know. Before we go or have to end, I need to say this: the work that this micro mini does for local artists. I am a Sarasota native, a Booker student. If you notice, we got Booker. This is needed for us artists. Thank you. Growing up, you hear about Asolo, you go to the Ringling, you see these things, and you think as a child, is there any way I'd be able to be on there? And then to have that opportunity, like, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, this is definitely just the beginning, setting up for the story. It's the first song off the album.
fantastic. Well, I think that. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. So Alex has been working on this longer than he's known me. Over 10 years with this album, and he definitely put a lot of heart and soul to it. And while he may not have seen what it could be, definitely he's someone to look out for. We're gonna be passing out cards after. I hope you can listen to the recordings later and see what we were actually constructing. It was really amazing. He put a lot of heart and soul to it, and it's something you can learn.
So I think that is a great place to wrap up. So let's give one more round of applause. Thank you.